Imagine waking up in a world where reality no longer obeys the same rules, where invisible forces are filtering who can remain and who will be silently removed. This is not a distant fiction, but a process that, according to ancient revelations, has already begun to unfold before us. The news is terrifying. The creators have begun the Great Selection, and millions of souls have been marked in files that allow no return. Now, you need to ask yourself, where is your name written? In the Book of Continuity or in the Red Files of Liquidation? This revelation is not just a metaphor. It is a living warning that demands an immediate decision. Stay with me until the end, because what you are about to hear could completely change the way you view your own existence and determine whether your soul will remain on the new earth or be dissolved forever. The ancients always spoke of a time when earth would undergo a silent judgment, not announced in the newspapers but felt deep within each being. This moment would not be like human courts, full of bureaucracy and paperwork, but an invisible tribunal where the vibration of each soul would be weighed as if it were gold on a cosmic scale. And that is exactly what has begun to happen now, before our eyes, even though many are still asleep and unable to perceive the signs. What does the Great Culling mean? It means that it is no longer possible to live on Earth carrying energies that disrespect the harmony of creation. For centuries, humanity was tolerated in its mistakes, its wars, its shadows. But that time of tolerance is over. The Earth's vibration has risen, and only those who can tune into this new rhythm can remain. It's like trying to breathe underwater. Those who are not prepared simply cannot exist in this environment anymore, and this is where the shocking revelation emerges. 80% of humanity has already become incompatible with this new Earth. This isn't a pretty spiritual metaphor, but an accurate diagnosis. It's as if these people's souls have developed an irreversible allergy to the planet itself. They can continue walking, smiling, and living as if nothing were happening, but deep down, their systems no longer connect to the new frequency. The most disturbing thing is that this incompatibility isn't dependent on wealth, social status, or titles. Many people who seem good, smiling, and even religious are already in the red files. This is because it's not about appearance, but about essence. The question isn't whether you appear righteous, but whether your soul truly pulses in time with the new vibration. That's what's being measured now. And the great sorting isn't a punishment, but a filtering. Imagine a farmer sorting seeds. Those, full of life, will be planted in fertile new soil, while the withered and hollow ones simply won't germinate. It's hard to hear, but it's exactly what's happening to humanity right now. Few have yet understood that Earth is not just a physical planet but a living energy field, and like any living field, it can open or close its access doors. Until now, everyone could enter and remain, even those who lived in disharmony with their own essence. But that period is over. Access to Earth is being blocked to those who are no longer compatible with the vital field that sustains it. This blockade isn't created by soldiers or visible barriers, but by silent adjustments to the frequency of reality itself. It's as if the air has changed composition, and those who don't adjust simply can't breathe properly. People are already experiencing strange symptoms: profound fatigue, a feeling of displacement, constant emptiness, or even an unexplained melancholy. These are signs that access to Earth is closing for them, but something even deeper is happening. Many who have already lost their right to remain are being used as channels by forces that refuse to disappear. These forces are fragments of the shadows that, knowing they are about to be dissolved, fight desperately to maintain their influence. This is why we see so much chaos, so much wanton violence, so many irrational reactions emerging out of nowhere. It's a reflection of the doors that are closing. This blockade also means that reincarnation here will no longer be possible for those marked in the red files. The entry and exit doors to life on Earth are being guarded, and only souls vibrating in the correct frequency will be able to pass through them. This is terrible news for many because it means the end of the cycle of opportunities they've had for centuries. Now I want you to reflect with me. If the door is closing, where are you in relation to it? Inside, protected, or outside, begging for a space that no longer exists? This is the question each of us needs to answer. and the time to decide is quickly running out. Since the beginning of time, there has always been the idea of a book where destinies were written. This book is not a poetic metaphor, but a real record of the vibrations of each soul. Now, this book has been updated and divided into two large archives: the Archive of Continuity and the Red Archive. The first is for those who have space on the New Earth. The second is for those who no longer have any chance of remaining. The red file is a seal. When a soul is registered in it, it means its energy has entered a path of irreversible dissolution. This soul can still walk, smile, and even achieve things in the physical world, but inside, it is already marked. It's like a plant that still has green leaves but whose roots have been torn from the earth. It's only a matter of time before it withers completely. These souls registered in the Red Archive are called incompatible. They can no longer vibrate in tune with the new reality, and therefore are destined for liquidation. This does not mean punishment, but rather the reintegration of their energy in another form. What was fragmented returns to the whole, but individuality is lost forever. This is the hardest part: ceasing to exist as a single consciousness. The most disturbing thing is that no one warns when a soul enters the Red Archive. There are no trumpets, no messages written in the sky. The only way to notice is by the change. In essence, these people slowly begin to empty themselves, lose the sparkle in their eyes, live only in repetition, without a true connection to the spirit of life. You've probably encountered someone like this and couldn't explain the strange feeling they caused. So, the big question is, how do you know if your name is in the red file or not? This is the question we'll explore, because the truth is that there are clear signs, but only for those who have the courage to look within themselves without fear of what they might find. The term liquidation may sound frightening, but it accurately describes what happens when a soul can no longer sustain its individuality within creation. It's not a punishment nor revenge, but rather a natural process similar to what we see in nature when a dry leaf falls from a tree and returns to the earth, becoming nourishment for the soil. These souls are returned to the primordial ocean, but their identity, that which made them unique, ceases to exist. This is the most painful point of the entire revelation. There is no return, no second chance. It is the end of an interrupted journey. The liquidation has already begun silently. Many believe that the sudden disappearances, sudden deaths, and even the increase in cases of loss of vitality around the world are merely consequences of illness or chance. But the reality is that many of these situations are directly linked to the process of gathering incompatible souls. They simply can no longer remain here, and when the body can no longer support them, immediate detachment occurs. It's a process so subtle that, for most, it goes unnoticed. This withdrawal, however, doesn't only happen upon physical death. In some cases, the soul already begins to dissolve while the body still walks among us. Have you ever seen someone who seems empty inside, as if they were just a walking shell? People who live on autopilot, with no sparkle in their eyes, no passion for life. Many of these people are already in the process of being dissolved, even though they continue to breathe. It's like a candle that still emits a little light but whose flame is slowly dying, about to vanish. What's striking is that this process doesn't discriminate against ages or circumstances. Children, adults, and the elderly can all be affected, because liquidation doesn't depend on lifespan, but rather on the inability to resonate with Earth's new frequency. This means that even very young people may already be being removed from active records if they fail to align their essence. This is one of the reasons we see such a large increase in young people immersed in depression, apathy, or self-destructive behavior. Their souls are silently losing their resistance. Now, what few understand is that this liquidation is not an act of cruelty but of cosmic justice. If Earth continued to carry billions of incompatible souls, it would collapse. Just as a tree cannot survive if all its leaves are diseased, the planet could not sustain itself with so many misaligned energies. Therefore, the retreat is necessary. The question remains, are you prepared to face this truth and determine which side of this selection process your soul is being placed on? Now we come to one of the most delicate parts of this revelation: how to discover whether your soul is still connected to the new earth or has already been registered in the red archives. And September 2025 is a crucial month because, according to the signs announced by the ancient guardians, it will be the moment when Earth's portals will undergo a more profound review, almost like a mass spiritual audit. It will be like a silent call, and everyone in some way will feel the answer within themselves. But how do you check your status? Don't expect to find your name on a list published in newspapers or on some website. This information isn't accessible through conventional means. Access is internal. The only way is to silence your mind, observe yourself, and pay attention to the signals your own energy field is emitting. If you feel a constant heaviness, sadness for no apparent reason, or a profound disconnection from life, these could be warning signs that something is wrong with your attunement. On the other hand, if you feel lightness even amidst difficulties, if there's a flame of hope that insists on shining within you, it's likely that your soul is still connected. Another fundamental point is to understand how reality responds to your presence. When a soul is in tune with the new earth, signs of synchronicity multiply. Unexpected encounters that bring answers, revealing dreams, symbolic messages that seem tailor-made. These small confirmations are signs that you're still on the right frequency. Those marked in the red file, however, experience the opposite. Doors that close, relationships that fall apart, a feeling of being constantly out of place and at war with the world. September 2025 will bring an intensification of these signs. It won't be necessary to wait until the last day to feel it. In the first few weeks, many will have absolute clarity about where they stand. This will be the month when masks will fall, both collectively and individually. People who until then seemed strong will show signs of spiritual weakness, while others, considered small or invisible, will reveal an inner light so intense that no one will be able to ignore it. This difference will become impossible to hide. So if you want to check your status, don't wait for someone else to do it for you. Look within, observe your feelings, pay attention to your dreams, your signs, your life's ups and downs. The earth is responding to everyone all the time. September won't be just a month on the calendar. It will be a cosmic mirror held before humanity. And by looking into this mirror, each person will see their true condition, without masks, without illusions. Something even more shocking will accompany this selection process: the destruction of the entities known as demons. For centuries, these beings have fed on human weaknesses, drawing energy from the densest emotions like fear, hatred, envy, and greed. They thrived precisely because Earth allowed all frequencies to coexist, even the lowest. But now that the planet has shifted gears, they can no longer sustain themselves here. September will be the month when this collapse will begin to manifest visibly. These demons aren't horror movie monsters, but subtle presences, invisible parasites that lurk within human thoughts and emotions. Many have grown accustomed to living with them without realizing it. They are those inner voices that encourage addiction, discouragement, and unwarranted anger. But what will happen in September is that these presences will begin to be forcibly removed from within people, because the Earth's field will no longer allow them to remain. This withdrawal will not be smooth. Many will feel as if they are in an internal struggle, with intense crises, behavioral outbursts, or moments of profound mental confusion. The curious thing is that for those still trapped by these forces, the destruction of the demons will seem like a personal tragedy. They will feel as if they are losing a part of themselves, because for so long they have confused themselves with these voices, believing them to be part of their identity. But in truth, what will be destroyed is only the invisible prison that held them captive. For those who are awake, this process will be liberating. It will be as if an ancient weight, carried for generations, is finally dissolved into thin air. However, those already marked in the red files will suffer the most. For them, the demon's departure will not represent liberation, but absolute emptiness. This is because their souls have already lost their connection to the vital flame, and the demons were the only thing that still gave them an illusory sense of life. When these parasites are expelled, only a hole will remain, an unbearable nothingness. Many will be unable to cope and will surrender to their own collapse, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual. This will be one of the clearest signs of separation. The beginning of the destruction of demons should not be viewed with fear, but as the great opportunity for liberation that humanity has awaited for millennia. It is the moment when invisible chains begin to fall, when shadows that seemed invincible reveal themselves fragile before the new light emanating from Earth. If you can withstand the turbulence of this process, you will discover that within you there has always been a force greater than any shadow. September will mark the beginning of this unmasking, and the silent victory over that which seemed indestructible. With the arrival of the Great Selection, something inevitable will happen. The masks people have worn their entire lives will begin to fall. Until now, many have managed to maintain a public image of kindness, wisdom, or spirituality, while hiding dark intentions deep down. But September 2025 ushers in an era where this will no longer be possible. Earth's field has become so transparent that any dissonance between appearance and essence will be revealed. It's as if a bright light were turned on in a dark room, exposing everything that was hidden. These masks are not only social, but also internal. Many people have deceived themselves, believing they were in harmony with life, when in reality they harbored resentment, pride, or indifference. They convinced themselves that the theater they were performing was reality. But the new Earth field accepts no disguises. The incompatibility between what one truly feels and what one shows to the world will be so evident that no one will be able to hide it. This will cause ruptures in relationships, friendships, and even homes, because people will finally see each other for who they truly are. This revelation will be painful. Imagine someone who has always been considered a paragon of virtue, but who suddenly reveals their darker side uncontrollably. Or conversely, someone who has always been invisible, ignored by society, suddenly begins to shine with a light so intense that no one can deny it. This role reversal will shake structures, shatter false hierarchies, and open the way for a profound reorganization of humanity. What was hidden will come to light, and what was denied will become evident. The collapse of masks will also be a personal test. Many will be unable to bear seeing their own shadow exposed and will try to resist, attack, justify themselves, or blame others. But there will be no escape. It will be like standing before a mirror that reflects not the appearance, but the soul. This cosmic mirror cannot be broken or avoided. Each person will have to face what they have truly become, and how they react to this revelation will determine whether their soul can survive. But for those who are willing to look at themselves courageously, this will be a moment of rebirth. The collapse of masks doesn't have to be the end, but can be the beginning of an authentic life. When the lie falls, the essence remains. And if that essence is still alive, even if small and weakened, it can be cultivated and expanded. September will be the month when humanity will be divided between those who choose to live the truth and those who prefer to disappear with their illusions. Few people understand that Earth is not just a rock floating in space, but a living being, an organism with its own consciousness. Just as our bodies reject whatever threatens its integrity, the planet also rejects energies that are not aligned with its purpose. This is why so many climatic, geological, and energetic changes are occurring. These are not just natural phenomena, but clear signs that Earth is expelling what can no longer remain within its body. This process shouldn't be seen as a disaster, but as a purification. When our bodies are intoxicated, they produce fever, sweat, or even vomit to expel impurities. The Earth is doing exactly the same thing. Storms, earthquakes, fires, and strong winds are like planetary fevers, natural responses to restore balance. And those who cannot vibrate in harmony with this process end up being rejected, because they become an unsustainable burden on the Earth's living organism. The most impressive thing is realizing that Earth, like any conscious being, can choose who it wants to coexist with. For eons, it has embraced all frequencies, even the densest, like a mother allowing her children to grow and learn, even if they make mistakes. But that cycle has ended. Now it has decided to definitively align itself with the greater purpose of creation, and this means that only those who share this attunement will be able to continue living on its surface. You've probably felt this silent intelligence of the planet at some point. Perhaps while walking in a forest, gazing at the sea, or lying on the ground and feeling the earth's pulse beneath your body. This isn't just a physical phenomenon, it's the heart of the planet calling you to connection. Those who heed this call feel peace, clarity, and renewed strength. Those who fail to hear or simply ignore this voice are increasingly disconnected, like an unwelcome guest. Understanding Earth as a living organism is fundamental to understanding the current judgment. It's not a distant deity meting out arbitrary punishments, but the Earth itself, in its consciousness, choosing what can and cannot remain in its home. This is a wise and necessary choice because without it, the entire planet would be at risk of collapse. The question remains, are you living as part of Earth's healthy body or as an invader that will be rejected? Many still believe the transition will be heralded by grand catastrophes, but the truth is that the signs of disconnection are subtle, almost intimate, and occur in people's daily lives. A soul's disconnection from the new Earth begins slowly, with small disconnections that go unnoticed by those who aren't paying attention. It's like when a light bulb starts to flicker before going out. The body continues to function, but the inner flame is already flickering. One of the most common signs is the loss of sparkle in the eyes. No matter how much someone tries to smile, there's always a noticeable emptiness in their gaze, as if they're absent from themselves. Another sign is the inability to feel genuine joy, even in moments that should spark happiness. These souls live on autopilot, executing routines but lacking true presence. It's as if they're just taking up space without truly participating in life. Another sign is the growing disconnection from nature. Those in tune with the new Earth find pleasure in being near trees, rivers, and mountains because they recognize the vital pulse in these elements. Those who are disconnected feel bored, impatient, or even uncomfortable in natural environments, preferring to retreat to artificial spaces. This rejection of contact with the living is a clear symptom of incompatibility. Then, there are the emotional signs. Disconnection causes a kind of apathy mixed with constant irritation. These people find no meaning in life, live in conflict with themselves and others, and their energy seems constantly drained. It's as if they're disconnected from an invisible outlet that once sustained them. No matter how much they try to fill the void with consumption, distractions, or immediate pleasures, nothing works because the disconnection is spiritual, not material. But perhaps the strongest sign of all is the loss of the ability to dream. When a soul begins to disconnect, it loses vision of the future, ceases to believe in new paths, and life becomes a matter of mechanical survival. Dreams are proof that the flame is still burning. When they disappear, it's because the vital energy is already fading. September will bring this diagnosis clearly to many, the revelation that they are already, even without realizing it, in the process of disconnecting from the new Earth. Now more than ever, every individual choice carries a weight that goes beyond what meets the eye. Until recently, it was possible to live on autopilot, repeating familiar social and cultural patterns without significant spiritual consequences. But now, every decision resonates amplified, registering immediately in the Earth's field. It's as if every thought, every word, and every action were a note played in a grand symphony, and dissonances no longer go unnoticed. Many believe that small choices make no difference, but it is precisely through them that a soul's destiny is shaped. The simple act of harboring feelings of anger, envy, or indifference becomes, at this time, an unbearable burden on the planet's vibration. On the other hand, small gestures of love, kindness, and truth multiply like waves of light that sustain the fabric of the new Earth. Humanity is discovering, perhaps the hard way, that nothing goes unregistered in the cosmic field. It's important to understand that no one is condemned for a single flaw or mistake, but for the sum total of their choices. A lifetime based on masks, selfishness, and indifference cannot be reversed by an isolated act of kindness. Likewise, a life guided by love will not be undone by a single slip. What's at stake is the soul's dominant pattern, the primary melody it plays before creation. And it is this melody that is being heard, weighed, and judged. Therefore, This is the time to carefully observe your own choices. How do you react to the world? Do your words build or destroy? Do your actions generate peace or spread chaos? Don't wait for great trials to reveal your true essence, because the greatest proof lies in the small, everyday decisions. Every response you give to the universe is a seed planted, and the harvest is inevitable. The weight of individual choices should not be viewed with fear, but as an opportunity. If before it was possible to get lost in the crowd, now each soul has the chance to stand out, to shine, to show their authenticity. The universe doesn't demand perfection, but consistency. If your essence is of light, it will shine through, even amid mistakes. But if your essence is of shadow, no mask will be able to hide it in this time of revelation. Another powerful aspect of the current trial is unfolding in human relationships. It's never been so clear that every encounter is a mirror, reflecting back what we carry within. Love, friendships, conflicts, and even fleeting encounters are acting as soul revealers. What we feel toward others is, in fact, a projection of what dwells within us. This is one of the most difficult tests, because it forces each person to look within through the eyes of others. If someone awakens anger or irritation in you, it's not just about their behavior, but about something within you that still needs healing. If someone awakens admiration or peace, it also reveals aspects of your own soul that are blossoming. September will be the month when these projections will intensify to the point where they become impossible to ignore. Many will find themselves surrounded by uncomfortable mirrors, revealing old wounds that have not yet been healed. Relationships are being purified. False bonds, maintained only for convenience or appearance, will begin to dissolve. Friendships that were never true will simply disappear like dry leaves blown away by the wind. At the same time, new, unexpected connections will emerge, like destined encounters, bringing clarity and strength to navigate this time of transition. The universe is rearranging bonds, separating what is no longer useful and strengthening what is essential. This process isn't easy. Many people will feel intense emotional pain as if they were losing parts of themselves. But in truth, they're simply freeing themselves from the bonds that prevented them from growing. The relationships that fall are those that no longer support the soul's truth. Those that remain, or those that emerge during this period, are those aligned with the greater purpose of the new earth. Human relationships are such a powerful field of revelation that they cannot be ignored. They are the laboratory where the soul reveals its true essence. Those who reject the mirror offered by others are rejecting themselves. Those who accept it with humility are taking a step toward healing and permanence on the renewed earth. In September, the mirror of relationships will be placed before everyone, and there will be no looking away. Many people ask, is there a way out? Is there a chance to escape the fate of the red archives? The truth is, there are no magic formulas, but there are 3 essential steps that can completely change a soul's trajectory. These steps don't depend on religion, rituals, or titles, but on the inner sincerity with which they are lived. September 2025 will be the point at which each person will have to decide whether or not to follow them. The first step is reconciliation with oneself. For a long time, people have learned to run from their own shadows, to hide their flaws, to blame or punish themselves in silence. But the new earth does not accept internal masks. What exists must be faced with courage. Those who are able to recognize their weaknesses without condemning themselves but also without justifying themselves give the first sign that their soul is still alive. Reconciliation is the foundation, because without it, any other attempt is merely a facade. The second step is reconnecting with life. This means relearning to appreciate the value of simple things: the breath of the wind, the song of a bird, the embrace of a loved one, the silence of a starry night. Those who have lost this connection are already somewhat disconnected. The simple act of stopping, taking a deep breath, and giving thanks for life is a gesture that reactivates the invisible threads that connect the soul to the planet. It seems small, but it is powerful, because it shows that there is still a connection with the Earth's vital field. The third step is practicing truth. not just telling the truth to others, but living according to your inner truth. This requires abandoning roles, personas, and illusions. It's an invitation to live authentically, without fear of being judged or rejected. The earth can only sustain those who resonate with their true selves. Those who insist on living by appearances will automatically be filtered out. Truth is a beacon, and those who follow it find the path to permanence. These 3 steps aren't easy, but they are possible. They require nothing more than sincerity and courage. Those who practice them, even imperfectly, demonstrate that they still want to stay. September 2025 will be the time to put them into practice, not theory. Because in that month, words will no longer have power. Only real vibrations will be recognized. One of the most enigmatic aspects of this judgment is the silence of the creators. Many expected direct messages, spectacular signs in the sky, visible manifestations to prove that the great selection had begun. But what we have is a profound silence, as if the universe were observing without interfering. This silence is not indifference but part of the process. It exists so that each soul can reveal for itself who it truly is, without relying on external orders or impositions. This silence is also a test of faith. Those who only believe when there are clear signs, who only trust when forced to see, show that their connection is still fragile. The new earth is not built on doubt, but on silent trust in something greater. This is the moment when each person must decide whether to continue believing even when nothing seems to be happening. Faith without proof is the key that opens the door to continuity. Many despair at this silence, interpreting it as abandonment. But the truth is, we've never been so accompanied. Silence doesn't mean absence, but invisible presence. It's like the gaze of a master observing a disciple during a test, without offering answers, simply waiting to see if they've understood the lesson. We are in this very moment, being observed, tested, evaluated in our innermost being. This silence is also a form of respect. The creators do not take away anyone's freedom to choose. They do not interfere because they want every decision to be genuine, born from the heart and not from fear or imposition. If there were spectacular signs, many would align themselves solely out of fear, not love. But silence separates those who truly feel the truth from those who merely follow external trends. So don't expect trumpets, recorded messages, or spectacular revelations. Silence is the revelation. Emptiness is the test. If your soul can remain steadfast even without guarantees, it means you're already vibrating in the new earth. If you only believe in the spectacle, you may already be closer to the red archives than you think. September will show who can remain faithful amidst the silence. We have reached the most crucial point of this revelation. The new earth is already being formed, and only those who resonate with its vibration will be able to remain. This is not a distant paradise on some other plane, but a reality that is already beginning to manifest here in the present. Judgment is not something that will happen in the distant future. It is already underway, and September 2025 marks one of the most crucial stages of this process. Every day that passes is one less opportunity to align, because the separation is accelerating. The new earth will not be inhabited by blind masses, but by those who have cultivated clarity, love, and authenticity. It will be a place where lies have no place, because the planet's own energy will immediately dissolve them. It will be a field where selfishness becomes unsustainable, where every selfish action returns to the sender in a matter of moments. Many believe this sounds like fantasy, but it is merely the natural consequence of a higher vibrational field. The new earth is not a utopia, it is a reality in the making. This is the moment when every soul needs to ask itself, do I want to stay? This question seems simple, but it carries immense weight, because wanting to stay requires abandoning old patterns, shedding illusions, and accepting responsibility for one's own essence. Many say they want the light, but continue to feed the shadows. Many claim to desire the truth, but still hide behind masks. The final choice is not about words, but about real vibration. September will be the month in which this vibration will be precisely measured. It's important to understand that no one will be forced. Judgment is not an imposed punishment, but a revealed individual choice. Each soul shows where they want to be by how they live, feel, and connect. Those who choose to remain vibrating in fear, anger, or apathy simply won't be compatible with the new earth. Those who, even amidst difficulties, insist on cultivating love, truth, and connection will be naturally drawn to this new realm. It's the law of attunement, inevitable and just. And if you've made it this far with me, it already shows something important. Your soul seeks understanding, seeks to remain, seeks to align. This is a powerful sign that there's still a flame within you. Now I want to extend a special invitation. Subscribe to this channel to continue receiving messages that can strengthen your journey. And leave a note in the comments to show that you stayed with me until the end. Write the keyword, Earth. I want to see how many of you truly made it through this revelation to the end. Your participation will be like a silent testimony, a sign that you choose to remain.